things aren't going bad or things get difficult. We want everybody to be able to reach their full potential, do what they're capable of doing, challenge themselves to be able to do it. And this is a tough time. Camp is a tough time to do it. It's not as tough as it used to be. It used to be we get 2-a-days, then we went 2-1, 2-1. Now we do 1-a-days, sometimes in pads, sometimes in shells, sometimes in helmets, which I think is okay for the training of the players. But I also think that players have to overcome and define what is really hard and what's my mindset to sort of stay focused on the things that I need to do to get better, have positive energy, and go about my work in a way where I can improve. And I think the number one thing that you want all players to do after the first scrimmage is say, this is a chance for me to self-assess my conditioning level, my ability to sustain, my mental toughness to be able to play the next play and continue to play with the kind of intensity that's going to help me play with winning football. And am I a responsible, accountable player that everybody can count on to go out there and do my job in an effective way? So there were a lot of good things out there on the field today, but we got sloppy at times, had way too many penalties, and a lot of undisciplined type penalties, whether they were illegal formations, offsides on defense. So all things that are correctable. I thought the kicking game was good. The specialists executed fairly well. I'm not disappointed in any way, but I think at this point, you would expect to need to practice to improve on a lot of things. And after only having 8, 9 practices, whatever we've had to this point, I'm sort of okay with where we are, but also very much enthused about the challenges that we have to try to work to get guys better so that we have more guys that can play winning football.
It could be tough to evaluate right away after scrimmage, but where did you see the offensive line? How did they improve since the spring?
Well, it really is hard to evaluate, but I thought the first offensive line was improved. I thought that second offensive line struggled in protection, struggled to run the ball. But I was encouraged by the running backs and some of the plays that they were able to make, some of the runs that they were able to run. So I would say all in all, I thought the first line made some improvement. I thought the second line struggled a little bit at times. But I think every unit had its ups and downs, and I think that's what I'm talking about when I talk about maintaining consistency.
Coach, I know scrimmages tend to be situational. What were some of the situations that y'all spent the most time on today?
Well, we did move the field like a game, probably for 25 plays for the first offense, 25 plays for the second offense. Same thing for the defensive guys. We did a third down period. We did a red zone period. We did a goal line period, a coming out period. We actually did a fastball period and a 2-minute period. So those are all the situations that we covered. But the first threes also got an opportunity in move the field type situations. So I think, those are things that give you more of the flow of a game. And I think in the next scrimmage, we'll want the scrimmage to be more game-like.
There were times last year when short yardage run situations that were inconsistent, not just today, but overall in camp so far. Have you seen creating movement up front?
Well, we haven't really worked on short yardage a whole lot to this point. I don't disagree with you. There were times we have 1st and 3 at the 3 and struggled to run it. There were times we had short yardage situations, but I think we had to do a lot of self-evaluation in the off-season, quality control on what we do, how we create ways to run the ball effectively against 8-man fronts, which is what you get in those situations, and not allow them to force us to throw the ball, but have enough confidence that we can get enough movement to gain a yard or two. And I think that's something that we want to get better at.
Kind of a two-parter. Just what did you see from the receivers today, and what have you seen from the guys that are kind of stepping up in place of JoJo?
We were inconsistent at receiver today. We made some really good plays. We dropped some balls. I think Kobe Prentice, probably of the young guys, I think he had like 5 catches. He was probably the guy that stood out the most of the young players. But, you know, each and every day, there's a different guy that, you know, shows that they have some ability to do things in a really positive way. So I think if I was going to evaluate the group, I would say we all need to play with more consistency. We got to get the quarterback really, you know, comfortable with the receivers that we're going to play with and the spots they're going to play, and that's got to be a goal for us in the coming weeks.
I was going to ask about the receivers, but I'll talk about the tight ends as well. Just what did you see from that unit, and are you finding a pass catching option with Cam? Is it a pass catching option at the position kind of emerging with Cam a little bit?
Well, we miss Cam, no doubt. He's a very good player and has a lot of experience, and he's a multifaceted guy. He's a pretty good receiver. He's a good athlete. He's got pretty good speed. He's a good blocker. So all the other tight ends that we have right now, other than Robbie Oots, who is a little more of an H type of guy, they're all young players. And, you know, there's probably a lot of anxiety out there with a lot of young players today, first scrimmage. So I can't evaluate them just based on what I saw today. We do have some guys that can be effective pass catchers, but I think that all young players have a long way to go to really understand the things they need to do in the passing game especially, which takes a lot more sort of precision so that they can get open, they can read the coverages, they can be on the same page with the quarterback. So that's a work in progress with the young guys.
Are you starting to see more of a feel for the guys that can do more in the return game aside from Jahmyr Gibbs?
You know, Kool-Aid did a nice job on punt return. You know, we're working with some other people back there. Burton is, you know, back there. I've got a lot of confidence in him in punt return. You know, I think Emmanuel Henderson can, you know, be a dynamic returner. I think Tyler Harrell can, you know, do kickoff return. He's probably not a punt returner. So I think we got some guys that are capable. I just think we sort of have to continue to try to develop them and see who comes at the forefront.
You asked a lot about offensive guys, just defensively. How would you assess their play today and how that group's coming along?
The defense started out playing fairly well. I was disappointed in the way we played in the red zone and the goal line. You know, made some mistakes on third down. So when our energy level and our intensity is good and we communicate well, we seem to play pretty well together. As things, you know, sort of move along in the scrimmage and those things start to dissipate a little bit, we probably don't execute as well as we could and gave up a couple plays that were really better. We shouldn't give up those kind of plays.
Aside from Henry, how's the depth coming along at inside backer?
You know, Jalen Moody's done a really good job at that position. We've got several young guys that, you know, we continue to work with. And, you know, there's a lot of volume of information that they've gotten, and we do pretty big installs. The offense is doing pretty big installs. So they see a lot of different things, and they have to learn a lot of different things. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys sort of develop, you know, this week. But nobody's disappointed, but I'd say a lot of the young ones are swimming a little bit.
The cornerbacks, what did you see from them today?
You know, Kool-Aid did okay. Terry Arnold has done a really good job so far in camp. Eli Ricks is still trying to learn, you know, the defense so he can go out there and play with confidence. You know, Kyrie is out, so he didn't participate today with a little bit of a groin injury that hopefully won't keep him out long. And so, you know, some of the young players are, you know, coming along. We moved Antonio Kite to corner, which I think is a natural position for him, and he's done a pretty good job there. So, you know, I'm sure that if you ask them, that all say there's things they can need to improve on. When I watch the film, I'm sure I'm going to be talking to them about what they need to improve on as well. But I think the big thing is keep people cut off, don't give up big plays. That's got to be a critical piece for what we have to do, you know, at the corner position.
All right, Coach, thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.